I want to talk about playwriting. As we have said, the play is the starting point of the production. Let's just say that now. We are talking about a play now, not a scenario, not a concept, not an idea, an actual written text of a play. Now, playwrights, when they set out to write a play, can be inspired by any number of things. Um, History, myth, legend, poetry, music, art, visual art, um, war, conflict, crisis. Like I said early on, the work that is being created right now that we have no idea about yet is going to be outstanding. I think the current situation in this country is going to really inspire a lot of artists to make art. So, a playwright draws inspiration. He's inspired to write a play. He has uh, he has to decide on his subject. He has to decide on his characters. Who is he going to get to tell this story? So he writes. He tells his story. He fills his story with characters who express opinions and feelings and tell the story. He finishes. He gets a draft of it, and he's pretty happy with it. Now, what's the first thing he wants to do since he's finished his play? The first thing he wants to do is call some of his theater friends together and ask them to sit down and read it so he can hear it. Because for as long as he's been writing this play, it's been in his head. It hasn't left the digital world. He's typed it. It's there. It's on the computer. It's not out in the world yet. So he has to get someone to read it, and he sits there and listens to it because when he hears someone else read the line that he wrote, it's not going to sound the way he thought it did. You give it to someone else, and they interpret it. And he hears it and says, "Ooh, maybe this isn't what I wanted to say," or maybe this is exactly what I wanted to say, or hey, that's a possibility I never even thought of. The value of hearing your play read aloud is major. So he's going to take his play and he's going to rewrite it. And then he's going to bring his friends back. Maybe this time he'll offer them pizza and say, "Would you read it for me again? I want to listen to it." They read it. And if all works out, he's happy with it. And he says, "Okay, so what do I do next?" Protect it, make sure it's yours, make sure you find a way to secure it as your intellectual property. There are ways of doing it now. Back in the day, what you had to do was you typed it up in a manuscript and you put it in a file uh, uh, envelope and you certified it and you mailed it to yourself and you don't open that. That's proof that it's yours, you see. Nowadays, there are ways to secure this that are much more effective. But once you've done that, you're going to send your baby out into the world to see what happens, to see if anybody is interested in producing it. And if they are, then they will contact you and let you know. "Hey, I like your play. We would really like to produce it." Okay, great. Now, chances are, before any of that happens, you might want to enter your play in a competition, playwriting festival, somewhere where it's going to be read by people who read plays all the time. There are lots of them across the country. Um, Probably the most notable, respected playwrights conference in the country is the National Playwrights Conference at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center in Waterford, Connecticut. This is where so many playwrights, amazing playwrights, saw their plays birthed, if you will. August Wilson, Paula Vogel, people whose plays found a home on the Broadway stage and are still a major part of our theater world. To protect playwrights, there are publishers. Suppose your play got picked up by a theater company and it was produced and it was seen by a lot of people and they liked it. Word will get to a publisher. In the US, there are several publishing companies: Samuel French, Dramatists Play Service, PlayScripts. It's interesting. I have a feeling that of late they have all been kind of bought up by a big publishing company. I'm not sure about that. I'll let you know. But at any rate, if a publisher is interested in your play, they will represent you. Publishing houses have a catalog of plays where people like me, people at Sumter Little Theater, for example, will go to look at the plays that they have to offer in hopes of finding something that fits us. I contact the publisher. When I contact the publisher, I have to provide them with certain information. First of all, my producing status. Sumter Little Theater is a non-professional community theater. We are non-profit. Talk more about that later. They want to know the size of our theater. We seat 114 people. They will want to know how much we charge for tickets. Our average ticket price for a non-musical play is $17.50. For a musical, it's $22.50. So we provide that information to them. We let them know how many times we want to perform the play. Typically here, at Sumter Little Theater, we perform it 8 times. We provide that information to them. They come back to us with a royalty fee. That is the cost that we have to pay to produce the play. Typically, for us at Sumter Little Theater, with our ticket costs, our producing status, and the number of times that we are going to present the play, our royalty per non-musical play is about $1,000. That's every time we do a play. We have to pay a publisher $1,000. Now, consider that we're not the only theater in the country that's producing this play at any one time. All of that money, the royalties that go back to the publisher, a portion of that is going to come back to the playwright. That's how playwrights make money. They have to write plays. It's been that way since Shakespeare's time, when playwrights were actually being paid to write plays. But that's how playwrights make plays nowadays. You write a play, it gets picked up by a publisher. Theater companies all across the country look at plays like yours, consider them. If they produce that play, they have to pay a royalty to the publisher, and a portion of that goes back to the playwright. To make money as a playwright, you have to be pretty prolific. And in other words, you have to write a lot. Or you write a play that gets picked up by someone who's interested in turning it into a movie. That's how you make a lot of money as a playwright. Okay, I'm going to stop there, but I'll be back.